Chat, here we go. We have Toxic versus Evoh in a best of 5 show match. Evoh said he did not want to test the server, that he wanted to just hop in a server and go on EU. I was going to have him play a full series against Toxic because Evoh's been looking to try and grind 1v1 matches recently. So I thought, you know what? Mostly EU guys are playing right now, but maybe Evoh will still be down to play even if he has to go play on EU servers, which is exactly what we have set up here today. I thought we'd maybe test his server, but no, he just says go immediately to the first one. He has picked this 116 ping server. He is trying to pull off Diaz level domination by playing on high ping, and we'll see if he can do it today against Toxic, who has qualified for the top 16. I was not here this last weekend in order to watch the RLCS field over in EU get dwindled down from 120 million to just 16, but Toxic has managed to make himself one of those 16 over in EU. And he's got an opening round matchup against Tempo, which I have a feeling is going to be a pretty equal one. Not sure which way I'd go with the way I have seen Tempo play recently. Historically, I think Toxic had the edge for many years, but Tempo is on the rise. And Evo's going to take advantage of a little bit of a whiff here to be the first to score. Bold-Blooded, thank you for the 17 months tier 1. I'm actually not sure that I thanked the other two guys who subbed at the start of the stream. Thank you, Vacanus, for the 37-month tier 1. And RWS Player 248, thank you for the 7 months tier 1. Great to have you guys here. Diaz versus Nupo yesterday was nuts. Was that on a player stream? Was that a show match? Toxic. Oh my goodness, reset pinch. Was it Nupo live, no mic, no cam, queuing into Diaz, I imagine? Did I make the sub goal for February? I did, yes. Everybody who helped me get Partner Plus, much appreciated. I don't know if we necessarily need to worry about Partner Plus until later in March, but if you were considering helping out the stream, you could always give a tier 1, which helps us give us one of the 300 points we'll need in order to get the final month for Partner Plus. And then Twitch will upgrade us to getting a higher percentage cut of the subs. So I wouldn't mind it if you did sub, but like I said, I think we can maybe just hold ground here towards the end of March and then find out whether or not we're right on the very edge again. Evoh missing a back wall touch. This will be free for Toxic, who's going to make it 2-1. Sorry, Bold-Blooded. I just noticed you tried to send a TTS message, but TTS, of course, turned off during the show matches as Toxic is going to pre-flip underneath this ball to try and get Evoh to miss. Special guest weekend coming up. Your main man, Feer, going to be on the main broadcast as Toxic, what a nice shot here, using the reset to slow down the ball. And I thought he was going to be up too high, but he ends up getting the perfect touch to make Evoh miss and still get it right underneath the crossbar. Are you watch partying Friday? Yeah, the plan is to be live Friday. Evoh kickoff goal to stop a 3-0 streak. Delay wave dash kickoff. Oh, mega delay from Toxic as a way to fight back against it. He actually didn't pick up any boost, but prioritized the right thing as he ends up getting himself a shot, although I think he went all the way out. I'm not sure it would have changed much if he had gotten 100 boosts. He might have had 10 used in order to get right back to the spot he would have been anyways, and then 90 left over in case he did miss, but he didn't miss, so we're not going to have to worry about that anymore. Toxic, Airable 50, trying to do camera checks to see what he's going to have to deal with here with Evoh, and Evoh does chase him down, dodges him as he jumps over the top of him. And Evoh is now down 3. Evoh is one of the main guys who likes to use camera work in order to try and get as good of a read as possible. And obviously, to some degree, players use their camera at least a little, but Evoh likes to use it a lot. Doesn't seem to be affected too much by throwing off his vision. Takes this dribble all the way to the ceiling. Wants a goal line 50, doesn't get it. And he's not going to be able to go pick up that 100 boost. Toxiic is out ahead of him. I'm actually surprised he followed him into the corner there. He's going to have to try and make something happen. Toxic's trying to go crazy. He fell from the ceiling. Got really greedy for a goal here. And it ends up not paying off. Toxiic had the reset, misses the ball. And now a 2-goal game for Mr. Evoh. Wave dash kickoff from Toxiic. Gonna body Evoh back to the other side to guarantee he gets his goal. Evoh prioritizing the boost grab. I think he just tried to speed flip back to the ball. He's hoping to catch it and stop that really high bounce, which can be tough to deal with when on offense in the opponent's half. If you could get that to die down, maybe collect a possession and attack Toxiic, but he didn't get there in time, and now instead it'll be a Toxiic freebie. Feer says he does full time now, but he left us hanging for an RLCS watch party, best regional of the year. Well, I do. I work 2 full-time jobs, and that is father and husband to the Feermily. That's one of them, and the other is streaming with you guys. So my other full-time job needed me. Evoh, the air dribble cringe. That'll do it. He needs 3 in 46 seconds. It's not going to be easy, but it certainly is possible. Fake kickoff from Toxiic to try and reduce some of the volatility that would allow it to be possible for Evoh to bring it back. Evoh still intercepts. Has 100 boost. Toxiic used up everything he could to recover here, but probably bought himself enough time. It's not going to matter. Evoh into an air dribble. Ended up just taking it right into Toxiic. I think there was a bit of mind games on whether or not he's going to go for a bump or keep the dribble going. Toxiic ends up reading it appropriately. And even though Evoh gets his goal, it's going to come probably just a little bit too late. 12 seconds left to go for him to bring it back. You couldn't handle the RMC non-belief from the Johnny Boy this weekend? A lot of people were talking about, you know, like there was a whole Reddit post pointing out all the people who said that Gen G was not going to do it or not, you know, getting a regional win to qualify for the major. And I don't think those people are necessarily wrong. I think they just helped paint the picture of how crazy of a run it was. Game number 2. Lost had to play Drafinho in the last match of the 1v1 Swiss. Wait, only one of those 2 guys made it through? I would have expected both Lost and Drafinho to make it to the top 16. Unlucky that only one of them could make it in. Thank you for the 32 months, Beaston. Keep up with great content. Appreciate you. Evoh slamming one in. Also did not ask for a new server. He's down to just ride it out here on 120 ping on this EU server. I've seen Evoh play on EU a bunch. He can get sub 100, but he just wants to power through on 120. I don't know how many streams we're going to be able to get in before RLCS 1v1 later this week, but I'd love to get some of the top guys essentially playing matches against each other, almost like scrims in preparation for RLCS 3v3, which I'm sure teams are running a ton before their weekends of the top 16s. Where can you see who made top 16? Well, Wikipedia is your answer for everything. Here's this Toxic flick that mirrors, or I should say matches, Mr. Moxie, because it is the direction that he likes to flick him. Just ripping one top left. He's always had a strong flick. We'll also be doing predictions. I won't be able to do... I mean, we could try South American 1v1 predictions, except for the top, like, 5 or 8-ish, probably, in South America. I think there's some newer guys I hadn't seen before, so it might be tougher to predict other than just, you know, predict them against the players that I am aware of at the top. But I like to see some new faces. You never know. Maybe some big runs. On K, thank you for the tier 1 for 2 months. Appreciate you. Tier 1ers are the heroes. Birmingham dinner? I don't think we're gonna... Is it just beans, bread? Yeah, okay, we'll add it, sure, but I don't think it's gonna be used very often. Proverb, thank you for the 10 months tier 1, and Rusty, thank you for the 12 months tier 1. Toxic. Faking the challenge there on the ball, I believe. I was looking at some subs, but as I came back, it looked like he kind of pulled off the ball, prepped for a 50, in the process faked. It's Birmingham. Whenever I was saying that, people were roasting me, saying that was my North American way of saying it. So I switched. But maybe I'm wrong. Evoh within 1. That's Toxic. Gonna change some dashes on the back wall. One of the things I was thinking about doing, and I'm sure it's just not gonna work out that way, but maybe I'll reach out to some people, you never know, is to just do actual like scrim blocks for 1v1. Maybe we could run it on Wednesday. We'll see how many people I can convince, where you basically, I don't know if you guys know how 3v3 scrims work, but my understanding is you basically block out a team for an hour and you're just playing games against them. Obviously, it doesn't matter who wins or loses. People just trying to work on their game, work on one thing or the other, prep for the RLCS. Could be kind of fun to see what scrims in 1v1 could look like, where it's just a time limit. Let these guys just play as many games as they want. Work some games out against each other. But of course, I imagine that happens probably at least at some level while not being streamed. But I think for the most part, these guys are just queuing up ones ranked as essential scrims. Evoh's trying to go to length of the field right now, and he's going to need a crazy wave dash catch. I think I saw the vision for what he needed to make this work, and he's not one to give up on it. So he did just try and get the nutty power slide catch into, I think, maybe flick is what he was hoping for, but he did fall ahead of it. One hour straight 1v1 sounds terrible, so that idea is great. Yeah, I think ranked ones is just considered good enough scrims. I know I was watching, apparently, Jack earlier today. He was getting a bunch of games against Nugget for a bit. But then, at least when I checked it a couple other times, there were definitely games that, you know, you could argue are not quite of RLCS scrim level, like a full-on match against one of the top 16 or so would be. But Nugget, I think, would have clearly been top 16 if he was not currently banned. Nugget was part of that YMC squad, banned for a year for... It was just 1 year, right? For match fixing, for losing on purpose in the RLCS. YMC is officially unbanned. I think he was just banned from all Epic tournaments, you know, so I think it's going to be 1v1. It's going to be everything that is RLCS affiliated. Evoh going to be gifted a free opportunity here with 1:33 left to go. Toxic again, putting himself out ahead of Mr. Evoh. Moxie was scrimming Juicy before his matches. Yeah, that's pretty smart. Warm-ups is also something that people do. If you guys weren't aware, in the RLCS, teams will pick somebody out, some other team, maybe that's playing in the event in some other distant part of the bracket, and play a warm-up scrim with them right before the real games start. Although I can't imagine that Moxie needed a warm-up scrim for any other day than maybe the Swiss stage. I don't think a warm-up scrim against the Diamonds or even, you know, the Grand Champs is really needed. Nice play here from Evoh. Evoh challenging backwards, gets bumped by Toxic up to the side wall, but really quick recovery there, and uses the boost he does have to get right back on top of it. Puts himself within 1 with a big ping disadvantage. Both these guys going to go wave dash kickoff. Evoh gets the win in the race to the side boost, and now is threatening the hook shot. Cuts it across, and oh my goodness, what a save. It was actually perfectly placed by Evoh. Evoh's elected to back off and let Toxic rush all the way out to the ball. Use a little bit of boost he does have, and now he has him completely starved out as he tries to find his way through. Toxic, pretty good clear. Evoh arrives at the midfield just a little bit too early to steal that 100, but Toxic's going to go into the back corner anyways. And now Evoh, the fake resets. Doesn't matter. Toxic didn't fall for it. Has the ball all the way in the blue half. He's not going to be able to hold on to this one, though. Evoh going to be tested in the air. Can he clutch out with 22 seconds left to go on 120 ping? A 50 keeps the ball just around the net. Can he find a way to score? Power shot. Toxic reads it. Still, Toxic not out of the woods. 10 seconds left to go. Evoh just going to try and boom it top shelf, and he missed way too high. That cost him all his boost, and now I think it's not fully over, but it's not going to be nearly as easy as he had it a second ago. Evoh does keep it up. Can he get underneath this one? He should not be able to get back to it. Yeah, it will hit ground as Toxic wins game number 2. Always going to be a tough challenge here for Evoh on these EU servers, but he fought to the end, but now has a big task ahead of him. Evoh into, this is the Team Liquid car, yeah, Team Liquid, to see if that can help him out here in this series. That hasn't been going so well for him, although he has accepted a tough challenge here. Evoh's been wanting to grind ones for a while, so it doesn't surprise me too much. He's been messaging me. Not a lot of North America is interested in grinding one show matches, it would seem right now, after the salt mine ended. And with North Americans one scene coming in the second major. Nice flick. I mean, Evoh actually cut off a lot of angles. This is very possible to miss, but Toxic does not. Anyways, yeah, most of NA is kind of taking a break in the 1v1 scene. But Evoh's been interested. And so he's going to have to play against these EU guys. Evoh, there, that's what I'm talking about in terms of camera movement, just keeping his camera pinned down as if he had, instead of ball cam, he had Toxic cam. As he swung around on that back wall, has a reset now. Fake wave dash on the board for a tie game. Yo, crazy. First time chat just told JBP no. Is that based, or, I mean, is he... Oh, he was answering your question. I thought he was just saying it at you. We'll go over the brackets, how they stand right now. Everybody, all the games. I mean, we won't cover any of them in replays, I don't think, because I'm not even sure if they'll be available. But I need to slightly recap, too. You know, I've looked at them briefly because obviously I couldn't wait. But I haven't gone deeply through all the different matchups and stuff. Hopefully some of you guys who were there can point out what you guys thought were the most interesting things in case something I don't notice went on. Yo, Rye Lacey, they've had 80 months. Tier 1, my goodness. Nupa won every game versus Diaz in ranked, and he's number 1 on all duels. So is he the best at the moment? No. No, I don't know. You may hate to see it. You may hate to hear that I don't think so. Nupa is 1 participation in Salt Mine 4 away from being the best. But right now, you know, even with Nas losing his recent show match, he just hasn't lost a tournament in years, it seems. So let's let him lose a tournament. But of course, he's not going to play against Nupo in this one. A few new 1v1 guys made Swiss. That's good to see. Evoh up 3-1. The Team Liquid Fennec may have been the answer. Evoh has always been a guy who loves the ground dribbles with the ball out ahead, not bouncing, more than anybody else in the game. Anybody else at this high level, normally dropping the ball down and letting it roll is just a big mistake. You lose some of the bounce, you lose some of the ability to play vertically, and it makes your attack way more readable. And yet Evoh is still willing to go to it, and he's had, you know, mixed success with it. I'm not sure if it's good enough for me to tell everyone else to start copying what he does there, but there's no question that he either doesn't mind it or is just not as good at keeping his dribble high and keeping it bouncing or keeping it up. But he's so mechanically gifted in every other way that I have to think he's just a little bit more willing to drop it down. And here is one of those reasons why it's nice to keep it bouncing, as Toxic's going to use that soft bounce to cut the ball around Evoh and make it 3-2. I should have screenshotted one of the YouTube comments. For some reason, I just thought of this. Maybe it's because of JPP's really high IQ comment he just did in Twitch chat. But there are some people who are not fans of the Twitch chatters. They're like, I enjoy the games, but I hate the childish Twitch chat who types things like DSC 1439 all the time. Like, oh, sorry. There's a chance I encourage that behavior. Toxic regaining the lead here with a minute 30 left to go. Evoh was up 3-1. He's allowed 3 straight. You can see the frustration from him as he toggles ball cam back and forth. And I'm not sure about this kickoff as he tries to float all the way to the net, and that, it feels like it almost secures his defeat. The way the match has been going so far, I don't know if he can afford to give up freebies like that one. Oh my goodness, what was that kickoff? By both of these guys. It is going to play into Evoh's hands as he has a reset and will go over the top of Toxic, who's actually defending this from the inside of his net on the side wall. Not something you see very often from a dribble that's this far away, but Toxic did get a lot of height from it. Just ended up expecting Evoh to drop down and lift underneath it. Evoh on another air dribble, wants the bump, gets it. Tie game, 5-5 with a minute 8 left to go. Evoh has been more than willing to use the air dribble bump. Toxic thought about the early jump. If he had stuck with that, maybe he could have gotten over the top of it before it got set up, but returning down to the ground makes his late recovery turn him into a victim. And now he's got kickoff possession, 5-5. Evoh at ceiling heights. Toxic, oh my goodness, he's going to cut it back to the net. He took it way too high up to the back wall, and it seemed like a bit of a mistake. Evoh fell from the ceiling, and he immediately expected this to be a rush to the corner boost. He's just trying to get out ahead of Toxic, figuring that he messed up. Turns out Toxic had another plan once he saw that. Good catch on the ground, and just cut it in against no defender. Evoh, this time the fake not going to work. Worked maybe earlier against Toxic. He's down 1 with 44 seconds left to go. Wants Toxic to toss him the ball, which he does. And there again is Evoh dropping the ball. This time maybe because of what he thought was a fake challenge there from Toxic, as opposed to sometimes when he's dropped it with no pressure like we were talking about earlier. Toxic controlling the ball with the lead. Oh, nice save from Evoh. Toxic not taking the safest of final attempts with just 1 goal to his name as a lead. That's looking like it might not matter, except for Toxic just passed Evoh the ball. Is Toxic trying to get more games in? The people with channel points on Toxic are going to be yelling collusion as he almost directly passes Evoh the ball and enables him to send this one to overtime. Wave dash kickoff. Evoh going to cut this one infield. Does manage to take Toxic's corner boost. Toxic able to recover and stop this 50. And actually, should just be able to get a tight angle goal. Wait a second. I wasn't watching from Toxic POV. Maybe it wasn't as simple as I thought. He's actually very low on boost. Evoh's going to use that as his opportunity to cut in. First touch off the sidewall, way too far out midfield. So he has to use all his boost just to get back to it. And now, defending against a Toxic flick. You got that much power on absolutely no boost. Evoh, the full length of the field from the back wall, has to leave that one, as there's no way a flip could recover and be better than just landing down and dashing and prepping for his recovery. Power shot here. Toxic cannot stop it. Evoh will win game number 3 if Toxic ends up losing the series. He really gifted the final goal for Evoh. I should say that the final goal in regulation, which is a pass off his own back wall from Toxic to Evoh. And now we have ourselves a series. Game number 4. Evoh and Toxic. Evoh out of the Team Liquid Fennec as he rolls through this ball. Toxic hasn't been able to deal with the physical play very well. Toxic out of the Octane and into the Fennec. Did we see any Batmobiles playing in our RLCS this weekend? For those of you who are watching. Or most importantly, look at Evoh. Look at this play. I love this kill on the side wall to get this to roll around and get in front of the net as soon as possible, as well as chain some dashes to be in the perfect position. It's just a nice combo of mechanics there. Real cars only. Fairy Peak did not use any Batmobile just to throw it back for old time's sake. It just feels like everything would be right in the world once we had Fairy Peak playing in the Batmobile in RLCS 1v1s. You heard what happened? Yeah? Why does that feel like something anybody could say to just bait me every time they show up to the stream? You heard what happened, yeah? No, I don't know. I guess I don't know. In RLCS. I'm still not sure what you mean. Evoh gonna die here. At least partly because he did not pick up that corner boost, allowing him to escape. Toxic's going to cut this on the back wall. Evoh able to actually get a touch on the bounce back off the back wall to clear it away. Wave dash cuts. I don't think it was on target. It's going to get credited as a shot and a save. But I'm not so sure I would have bet large sums on that one going in. Evoh, though, still in the lead. He had the lead at the start of Game 2. It seemed like he let it dwindle away before Toxic seemed to hand away what felt like a sure victory at the end. Toxic now out of the corner, staying behind the ball. Hair rolled and tried to both move the ball and bump Evoh in the process to sneak it in that top corner, but Evoh manages to make the right play defensively. That has been what has leveled him up. Evoh finishing, I'm not sure if this is the first time we've had him on since he finished second in the salt mine. Very impressive set of games from him there in the championship bracket. Who knows what we may come to see from Evoh when it's his turn to play some RLCS 1v1s. Evoh off the side wall. Not much of a solid sidewall dribble from him in terms of threats. Best he can ask for is that he didn't immediately get scored on, and yet Toxic is still going to get a flick at a 50 to tie it up. That was like the opposite. Somehow it was a knuckleball of his flick. You prep the defender to expect that top left boomer enough that when you drop a slow one right at the back of their car, it may work out just as well, since their save will be weak and you can just dunk it right back in. Unvoiced, thank you to tier 1 for 19 months. Careful, chat. He's a hero. That's a tier 1er, getting us closer to Partner Plus. Toxic reset in the field into the back corner. Evoh taking to the skies. Toxic pre-jump this time. Does not get bumped as he comes back out of the ground. In and out save from Toxic. Not going to be able to steal Evoh's corner boost, but did send it the length of field. Evoh again trying to go the distance. We have yet to see him score with this. Chat apparently telling me that Diaz and Nupo played a series of ones games as Toxic's gonna go double jump bump. Did Diaz hit any full field air dribbles? Evoh completely lost this dribble. Actually manages to get back to it and low 50 it before it gets too out of hand. Now looking to cook up some magic from the midfield, and Toxic will intercept it, but cannot get around the ball to get the angle for the shot. But we find ourselves in a familiar situation here as the clock winds down. Toxic with a lead against Evoh. With 1:03 left to go, Evoh picks up a corner boost. Wants a dunk, can't get it. Cannot snipe Toxic either. Now reset, top shelf double. There is a little bit of the sidewall magic that we often see from Evoh, and a lot of the top North American 1v1ers, they love to attack from that midfield hunter boost. And Evoh shows that he has the sauce. Another big kickoff win for Evoh. Can he put this on target? He can, but Toxic has recovered now. Evoh, for the second or maybe even third time, has just sailed the ball over the crossbar when he needed a high shot. And when, by all means, he's just trying to, you know, force Toxic to make a save high. He just way overshoots it, allowing Toxic to escape defensively as he now has a hunter boost and possession. Plays to his flick. Oh my goodness, Toxic! A moment ago, he's just collecting the ball, and the next moment, it's in your nets. And he can do it both ways to perfection. Not to call Moxie a one-trick pony with that flick left, but he definitely prefers it. Toxic seems to be completely comfortable no matter which direction he has to send it. And this time, it's a diagonal flip right. Evoh needs a kickoff win, and he might just have it here. Toxic's going to have full boost in defense. Evoh's had varied success here in the air, and in front of the ball makes it very unlikely that he finds a way to make it. And Toxic will get the win. GG's from him. Evoh dropping GG's in the party. A 3-1er for Toxic, who will be playing in the top 16 this weekend.